When the grid dies, the food stops, and your neighbors turn desperate. What really happens next? Not in the movies, not in theory. In reality, when society collapses, and the SHTF for real. Most people won't survive the first week, but you're not most people. As if you're here to find out exactly what goes down, step by brutal step. This is what really happens when everything falls apart. This is Prepper's Edge, because when the world breaks, the strong don't panic, they prepare. You hear the scream of a siren, then silence. Your phone screen says, no signal. The streetlights flicker, then go black. That's not a test. That's the beginning. When SHTF, when everything falls apart, most people don't understand what really happens. But you will after this. Every collapse begins with a trigger. An earthquake, a cyber attack, a nuclear detonation, a market crash, or something slow like an energy crisis, creeping inflation, or a pandemic that never really ends. But the moment the system cracks, it sets off a chain reaction. Rolling blackouts, supermarket chaos, empty fuel stations. In 2005, Hurricane Katrina collapsed New Orleans in just hours. But the real horror wasn't the water, it was the system's failure. No comms, no aid, looting, fear, civil order evaporated. The moment the system breaks, the clock starts ticking. The first 24 hours aren't chaos, yet they're confusion, shock, denial. But beneath it all, the fuse is lit. Our 1 to 7, disbelief and delay. People think it's temporary, a glitch, a regional outage. Some try to drive out, roads clog, fuel is already being rationed. Power's gone, but still, most people stay put, waiting. Hour 7 to 12, panic buying and fights begin. Word spreads. Get to the store before it's too late. In every collapse, the shelves go empty before the truth sets in, and the moment they do, survival shifts from shopping to taking. Hour 13 to 18, darkness and realization city at night. No lights, cold homes, people using candles. This is the tipping point, the moment hope fades and instinct starts to take over. Hour 19 to 24, fear takes root fires in distance, sirens gone, people walking streets with backpacks. It's only been one day, but already the rules are changing. And the people who didn't prepare, they're already too late. Clock hits midnight. Day one is over. The real collapse has just begun. Fires in the distance, a scream in the dark. The sirens stopped hours ago. Police aren't answering. You realize, it's just you now. What if they break in? Where do I run? Is this really happening? This is not a movie. This is the first 24 hours when SHTF. And if you're not ready by now, you won't be. Day one was chaos, but day two is different. This is the moment when the silence creeps in, when the panic dies down and something far worse takes its place. Realization. The power didn't come back. The phones didn't start working. The news is just static, and the government? Gone. No updates, no explanations, just silence. The looters are no longer panicked. Now they're organized. They're not just grabbing what they need. They're taking what they want. Alcohol, weapons, people. Gunshots echo through the streets. No sirens follow. You watch from your window as your neighbor, the one who always mowed your lawn with a smile, gets dragged out of his house for a generator. His wife screams. No one comes. This is the day you stop feeling safe in your home. You push a dresser against the door. You black out the windows. You tape a knife under the table and whisper to your kid not to talk loud. You tell your family to eat in the dark and to chew quietly because you can hear them outside now. People, desperate, hungry, listening, waters running low. The taps gurgle out their last breath like a dying machine. You crack a bottle from your stash and wonder if it's enough, not for the week, for the night. Your stomach growls. So does someone outside. You can't tell which is louder. Someone knocks on your door, once, twice. Then they try the handle. You check your phone. Still no signal, no Wi-Fi. The battery is a dying relic now. Just like the illusion that help is coming. You peek through a gap in your blacked-out window. The street looks abandoned, but you know it isn't. The people are still there. They're watching, waiting, like you. A man in his dressing gown walks down the center of the road, holding a garden rake like a weapon. His eyes are hollow. He's not looking for help. He's looking for weakness. Down the street, the local shop has been torn apart. The windows are gone. Doors hanging off the hinges. You see someone crouched inside, gnawing on a raw tin of beans with bare hands. A child cries nearby. No one comforts them. You remember the food stash in your loft. Not enough. Not for long. That sick feeling in your stomach isn't hunger anymore. It's fear. You hear a car in the distance, then a crash, a scream, laughter, then silence again. By mid-afternoon the air smells different. Smoke, not not yet. But it's spreading. Someone's house is burning, and no one's coming to put it out. You pour your last jug of clean water into bottles and hide them behind your sofa. You tape over the door locks, screw the back gate shut. You leave the knife on the table now. You can't afford the illusion of normal anymore. Night falls like a heavy curtain. That's when the real terror begins. Shadows move outside, slow searching. One of them tries your door. You don't breathe. Another figure, a girl, maybe 16, creeps down the road with a dog leash and no dog. Her eyes are wide, darting, feral. She's carrying a hammer. Far off, someone screams for help. It doesn't sound staged, it sounds real, but you don't open the door, you can't. You're learning now, and kindness gets you killed. The dog next door starts barking, then whimpers. Then nothing. You hold your loved ones close, every sound amplified by adrenaline. Your hand aches from gripping that knife. Tomorrow something's going to give. This society was a dam, and the cracks are showing. Tomorrow is day 3, and day 3 is when the monsters come out. Day 3 doesn't start like a normal day. There's no sunrise. Just a dim, ash-coloured light seeping through the smoke-choked sky. You didn't sleep. No one did. Not after last night. Something changed in the air, like the fear has thickened. Tangible now. A weight pressing on every door, every wall, every heartbeat. The rules are gone. The masks are off. Day 3 is when the monsters stop pretending to be human. You hear it before you see it. Screams, banging, a gunshot. Close, too close. You crawl to the window, carefully, quietly. There's a group of men outside. Not looters, not scavengers, predators. They've got machetes, baseball bats. One of them drags a crowbar across the pavement like he's daring someone to stop him. Their faces are painted, laughing, high on power, rage, maybe something else. They kick in the door 2 houses down. You hear the screaming. You hear the pleading. You hear the silence that follows, and you do nothing, because this is survival now, not heroism. You whisper to your family not to move, not to speak. You silently unbox the emergency radio. Still nothing, just static. Even the broadcasters have gone quiet. Down the street a body lies in the gutter, half covered with a tarp. You don't know who they were. You're not sure it matters anymore. By midday the smoke is closer, a block away, maybe 2. Someone's house has gone up, and no one's stopping the fire. The flames are spreading like the panic did. The local gang has taken over the park. They've got a signal now. A flare at dusk means they're coming for supplies. If your house is lit, they knock. If you don't answer, they break in. You reinforce everything. You set traps. You decide where you'll hide or fight. You no longer think about when things go back to normal. You think about when they'll find you. About how far you'd go to protect what's yours. By evening, you hear distant voices shouting a list of names. Some are your neighbours. Some are already dead. And then, just before midnight, someone whispers through your letterbox. We know you're in there. You don't move. You don't breathe. Day 3 is the day you stop being who you were and start becoming what you have to be, because tomorrow everything gets worse, and only the ruthless survive. It's day 4 and the sickness has started. The taps are bone dry, the toilets don't flush, the bins haven't been emptied in days, and it shows. Streets stink like a slaughterhouse. Dead animals, dead people, human waste in alleyways, swarms of flies, and with it, disease. You hear about it first through whispers. A family 4 doors down, all vomiting, diarrhea, fever. The water they drank was from a nearby river. They didn't boil it. They're not answering their door anymore. A child cries from inside. No one helps. Loud hacking cough from outside, then silence. You boil your water now, or treat it with the last of your bleach. Every drop is precious. Every mistake is deadly. Your stomach aches. Is it hunger, contamination? You don't know. And you're too afraid to find out. By midday, the worst begins. Mistrust. You hear a group of people arguing outside. Loud, desperate. Someone accuses someone else of hiding supplies, of stealing food, of hoarding medicine. The shouting gets more intense. Then gunshots, 3 of them, quick, final. When you peek through a crack in the curtains, you see a man kneeling in the road, hands on his head, there's blood on his shirt. People surround him, they're not helping, they're looting the corpse behind him. This isn't panic anymore. This is lawless survival. You lock every door twice. You hide supplies in strange places, under floorboards, inside hollowed-out books, even buried in the garden. You start sleeping in shifts. You stop lighting candles. You start sleeping with a weapon in your hands. The air is thick, heavy with smoke, with tension, with the smell of unwashed bodies and unspoken dread. You hear rumors, people talking about fleeing the city, bugging out, heading to the countryside. But roads are blocked, fuel is rare, gangs are targeting travelers. You think about your bug-out bag? About the forest 30 miles away? Can you get there without being seen? Can you carry your kid, your gear, your hope, all at once? And what if it's worse out there? Night falls like a guillotine and the whispers return. This time, it's not strangers, it's your neighbour. Asking for water? They've got nothing left. They're weak, thirsty, pale. You know what the right thing is. But you also know what happens when the desperate know what you have. You say nothing. You just wait, breathing shallow, staring at the door, because day 5 is coming, and day 5 is when the sickness spreads faster than fear. Day 5 starts with a question. How long can you live in filth before you stop noticing the smell? The bin bags are split open on every street. Rats scurry like they own the place now. Pools of something foul shimmer in the gutters. The air is thick with the stench of rot and sweat and blood. You haven't showered in days. No one has. Your skin feels tight with grime. Your teeth ache. Your breath tastes like copper. Infections are everywhere now, not just stomach bugs, open wounds, untreated fevers, red eyes and shivering hands. You see someone stumbling barefoot down the road, bleeding from the feet, muttering to themselves. They used to work at the pharmacy, used to. You try not to look at the bodies anymore. There are more of them now, some covered, some not. No one's burying anyone. There's no time, no fuel, no dignity. By mid-morning, the gangs are back, louder, bolder. They've started flying their own flags now. Spray-painted symbols on cars and buildings like it's their territory. They don't kick in doors anymore. They burn houses down if no one answers. You see smoke rising 2 streets over. You hear screams turn to coughing, then choking, then silence. Your hands shake when you try to eat. You force it down anyway. You have to keep strength. You tell yourself that. But the real damage today, it isn't to the body, it's to the mind. Trust is dead. A man knocks on doors, offering bread, real bread, says he's trading it for medicine. You watch from a slit in your blinds. You see him walk away with a bottle of antibiotics. You see him go to the alley and throw the bread in the bin. It was soaked in bleach. 5 hours later, a child dies on the floor of their flat. You start to wonder if you're next, not from violence, but from a mistake. A slip, a cough. Your water tastes strange today. You boil it twice. You still feel sick after drinking. You pull out your backup filters. You check the expiry date. You pray they work. At night you hear arguing from inside your neighbour's house. Loud, desperate, then silence. Then a woman screaming, then nothing. You don't check. You don't ask. You don't want to know. You're different now. Everyone is. You don't think about tomorrow. You don't think about rescue. You think about what you'd be willing to do to make it to day 6. And when the wind changes and the fire smoke rolls in, you start to think about leaving, even if it kills you. Because day 6, that's when you find out if you're prey or predator. Day 6 begins with the sound of bags being zipped. People are bugging out. Some are walking. Suitcases dragging behind them like anchors. Some push prams full of supplies instead of babies. Some have dogs, some have weapons, some have nothing but desperation. You stay hidden, watch them from the shadows. You want to hope they'll make it, but deep down, you know most of them won't. The roads are no longer just dangerous, they're owned, controlled by gangs, rogue militias, or desperate survivors who've realized something horrible. It's easier to take than make, and travelers are soft targets. You hear stories. A couple followed the rail line north, never came back. A teenager tried to cycle out of the city. They found the bike and not the rider. Still the pressure builds. The city is dying. Food is running out. Water is scarce. Fires are spreading. The gangs are growing in number and cruelty. You overhear two of them in the alley talking about doing a sweep tonight. They mention your street. You start making plans. You weigh your bug-out options. You lay out your kit, boots, blade, water filter, medical maps. You check and recheck it. You know you might have to leave half of it behind. You know you might never come back. But before you can leave, you hear something outside. Footsteps, 3 of them. They're quiet. Too quiet. Not looters, hunters. You kill the lights. Hold your breath. Listen, a whisper. This one's still got power. Smell that? Someone's cooking. You grip your weapon tighter than ever before. Then glass shatters. They're coming in. You don't think. You react. The fight is quick, brutal. You don't remember it clearly. Just flashes, yelling, swinging, blood. Then silence. A body on your floor. A smear of red on the wall. Your arm bleeding. You survive, barely. But now, you know. There's no more waiting. No more hiding. Day 6 is the line in the sand. You leave or you die. That night, with the sky glowing orange from fires in the west, you slip out the back. Everything you carry is on your back. Everything else, your home, your memories, your old self, is left behind. You don't cry, you don't look back, because Day 7 is the new world, and only the savage will stand in it. Day 7 begins like the others. Tired, cold, empty. You've been on the move all night. Your legs are lead. Your pack is heavier now, not from supplies, but from the weight of what you've seen, what you've done. The sun rises behind a curtain of smoke. The city's a smudge on the horizon, a scar glowing faintly in the morning haze. You haven't eaten in a day. Your water's gone. You nearly stepped on a corpse in the ditch this morning and didn't even flinch. And then you hear it. Not a scream, not gunfire. Sirens, police sirens. Not the looter's trick where they blast old recordings. This is real, moving, fast. Then a sound you haven't heard since before the collapse. Helicopter rotors. You drop to one knee behind a tree, listening, heart-pounding. Then you see it, Blackhawks, Chinooks, multiple, flying in formation, headed for the city. You stare, wide-eyed, mouth dry. Is this real? Are you hallucinating? No, it's real. Then the rumble starts. On the road below the tree line, trucks, military trucks, big ones, olive green, armoured, rolling in convoy down the old A road, British Army markings, some open top with soldiers holding rifles. One has the Red Cross, another's loaded with water tanks and ration crates. You stumble out to the edge of the tree line just as a soldier, uniformed, muddy, but alive, steps off the back of a lorry and starts talking calm and reassuring. "Food and water here! Medical attention available! We're securing the area! Please come forward peacefully! You're safe now!" Your legs give way. You fall to your knees. You want to cheer, to cry, to scream, but you just sit there, empty, numb. It's over, or at least this part is. People begin to emerge from ruins, from woods, from ditches. Gaunt, hollow-eyed survivors like ghosts returning to the land of the living. A soldier helps you to your feet, hands you a water bottle. You flinch at his touch. You realize something in your eyes makes him pause. He looks at you like he's not sure if you're the victim or the weapon. You drink. It burns going down. You whisper, "Is it really over?" He doesn't answer. He just nods. But you can tell by the look on his face. He has no idea what's coming next. You survived the first 7 days. You made it through the collapse. But now comes the hardest part, living in a world that watched itself burn and then tried to pretend it didn't. The first 7 days are over. The sirens came. The soldiers arrived. The world blinked back to life. But for those who survived it, something's changed forever. You don't unsee what people became when the water stopped. You don't forget the sound of someone begging for food, or the silence that followed, and you don't just go back to normal. You start living differently, watching differently, preparing differently, because you know now the system is paper thin. And next time, there might not be a day 8. You survived the first collapse. The question is, are you ready for the next one? Thank you for watching Prepper's Edge. Stay alert, stay prepared, and remember, survival isn't luck. It's a choice.